In a world where motorcycles are becoming lighter, cleaner, quieter, and increasingly digital, there's one machine that still stands like a clenched fist against the wind. Loud in its presence, brutal in its torque, and unapologetic in its attitude. This is the Suzuki Intruder M1800R, known to many as the Boulevard M109R, and even in 2026, its legend refuses to fade. This bike was never designed to follow trends. It was built to dominate roads, intimidate stoplights, and deliver a kind of raw mechanical emotion that modern motorcycles often dilute in the name of efficiency. And while tightening emission laws have forced it out of several markets, the Intruder M1800R is far from dead. In fact, in regions where it still survives, the 2025 and 2026 Boulevard M109R represents something rare today, a true power cruiser in its purest form. At the heart of this beast is one of the most aggressive V-twin engines ever put into a production cruiser. A massive 1,783cc, liquid-cooled, 54-degree V-twin that doesn't just make power, it delivers force. Twist the throttle and you don't simply accelerate, you surge forward with authority. With around 127 to 128 horsepower arriving at 6,200 RPM and an earth-moving 160 Nm of torque hitting as low as 3,200 RPM, this engine feels less like a motorcycle motor and more like a controlled explosion. What makes it special isn't just the numbers, it's how that power feels. The torque comes in thick and early, pushing your body back into the seat, stretching your arms, and reminding you that this bike doesn't need high revs to feel fast. Every throttle input is answered instantly, with a deep V-twin growl that resonates through the frame and straight into your chest. It's mechanical, visceral, and incredibly addictive. Suzuki paired this engine with a 5-speed constant mesh gearbox, deliberately keeping things old school. No quick shifters, no ride modes, no distractions. Just a solid, heavy-duty transmission designed to handle enormous torque without complaint. Power is delivered to the rear wheel through a shaft final drive, making the Intruder not only brutally strong but also relatively low maintenance for a bike of this size and output. It's built to be ridden hard and often, not babied. Visually, the Intruder M1800R still looks outrageous, even by 2026 standards. Long, low, wide, and muscular, it has proportions that make other cruisers look polite. The fuel tank sits aggressively forward, the stance is stretched, and the bike looks like it's moving even when parked. One glance at the rear tire tells you everything you need to know about Suzuki's intentions. A massive 240mm rear tire, one of the widest ever fitted to a production cruiser, anchors the bike to the road and gives it that unmistakable muscle bike silhouette. This tire isn't just for show. It translates the engine's torque into relentless forward motion, especially during straight-line acceleration. From traffic lights to open highways, the Intruder feels dominant. Cars disappear in the mirrors with a slight twist of the wrist, and overtakes happen effortlessly, without downshifting or planning ahead. It's the kind of bike that makes you feel like the road bends to your will. Despite its aggressive nature, the riding position is surprisingly comfortable for a power cruiser. The seat height sits low at around 705 millimeters, making the bike accessible to a wide range of riders despite its intimidating appearance. Once seated, you feel planted, grounded, and in control. The wide handlebars offer good leverage, which is crucial because this is not a light motorcycle. With a curb weight of around 347 kilograms, the Intruder demands respect, especially at low speeds. Yet, once rolling, the weight fades away. On the highway, the bike feels stable, confident, and rock solid. Long stretches of open road are where the M1800R truly shines. The engine settles into a relaxed rhythm, the torque is always ready, and the bike feels like it could devour continents without breaking a sweat. It's not a high-revving sport machine, it's a torque monster designed to cruise at speed with authority. Fuel economy has never been the Intruder's selling point, and Suzuki never pretended otherwise. Real-world owners typically report mileage figures around 10 to 13 kilometers per liter, depending on riding style and conditions. Ride it aggressively, and it will drink fuel with enthusiasm. Cruise calmly, and it rewards you with slightly better efficiency, but let's be honest, no one buys an M1800R to save fuel. You buy it for the experience. As of 2026, the Intruder's market presence tells an interesting story. In many regions, especially across South Asia, the model has been officially discontinued due to stricter emission standards. Markets like India no longer offer the Intruder lineup, marking the end of an era for many fans. However, the platform lives on in select regions, most notably in the United States, where it continues under the Suzuki Boulevard name. In these markets, Suzuki positions the bike almost as a resurrected legend, a reminder of a time when muscle cruisers ruled the streets. In a world now populated by bikes like the Indian Sport Scout and the Harley-Davidson Sportster South, the Boulevard M109R stands apart by offering a more old-school, raw, and mechanical experience. Where competitors lean toward electronics, refinement, and modern riding aids, the Intruder leans into brute force and character. This contrast is exactly why the bike still has a loyal following. Riders who choose the M1800R in 2026 aren't chasing the latest technology. They're chasing feeling. They want to feel the engine's pulse beneath them, hear the intake roar, sense the torque twist the chassis, and experience riding in its most elemental form. It's a motorcycle that demands involvement and rewards confidence. Pricing, of course, depends heavily on region and import status. In markets like Bangladesh, where the bike arrives as an import, the expected price for a 2026 model sits around 3.7 million BDT. That places it firmly in the premium category, but for enthusiasts who understand what the Intruder represents, the price is secondary to the experience it offers. Owning an M1800R in 2026 is not about practicality. It's about identity. It's about choosing a machine that doesn't compromise its personality to fit regulations or trends. It's about riding something that feels alive, something that still scares you a little every time you open the throttle. The Suzuki Intruder M1800R is not perfect, and it never tried to be. It's heavy, thirsty, and unapologetically aggressive. But that's exactly why it remains unforgettable. In an age of refinement and restraint, this bike stands as a reminder of what happens when engineers are told to build something wild. And maybe that's why, even as availability shrinks and regulations tighten, the legend refuses to die. Because motorcycles like the Intruder M1800R aren't just machines. They're statements. They're memories in the making. And in 2026, if you're lucky enough to ride one, you're not just riding a bike, you're riding a piece of motorcycling history.